another edition of Technoholic, where we get you addicted to technology every single week. And this week is especially exciting because I'm new here on the show after a very long time. And this fancy-looking device here, bird plane, what is it?
Is it a phone? Is it a PC? Is it something in between or something altogether new?
And we'll let you know about that in just a bit. So first things first, take a look at what's coming up on the show today. This week on Technoholic, Research in Motion seems to be on a roll. We get you all the new berries. It's the end of an epic era. We get you a review of Gears of War 3. But up first, Microsoft may just have done it this time around. Abhimanyu gets us all the details. Alright, so that's our lineup on the show this week, which gets us to this fancy tablet that we have right here, which I'm guessing is not...
Why are you calling it a tablet? Doesn't it look like a netbook or a laptop to all you guys out there at home?
It's pretty much like
let me take it. Oh!
Oh!
It's actually a Bluetooth keyboard, although it comes with the device. But for a moment, you can actually kind of be fooled into thinking it is a laptop, and that's part of the allure of this. But before we go any further, let's just quickly show it to all you guys over there. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the developer preview. It's not yet launched. It's in fact a year away from launch of the new Windows 8 tablet from Microsoft. I mean, Samsung has built the hardware on this one, but this is what the future of Microsoft tablet, laptop, phone, the convergence strategy will look like. But before we go into this one, it's not been an easy ride for Microsoft. They've actually been, pushing the tablet PC concept for almost a decade now, for a long, long time. And let's quickly take you, for a quick jog down memory lane and Microsoft's attempts at cracking this format.
In early 2000, way before any iPad, Microsoft showcased this version of the tablet PC, which would come to the market in 2002. A year later, Compaq had a tablet PC prototype with a Windows OS which Bill Gates predicted would be the PC without limits. Shift to 2005 and Steve Ballmer showed off the ThinkPad X41 tablet, which ran the full XP Tablet Edition OS. The flip version from Fujitsu came in 2006 in the form of the Lightbook C4215. But the big bang was at CES 2010, where Ballmer took center stage with an XP tablet running full Windows 7. And now, 2011, where Microsoft takes it to the public with the Metro UI. I think first time around Microsoft did fail, but this time I think they've got it right, because this is the first OS that does not give an iOS hangover. Android also gave a bit of an iOS hangover, but this is actually a first decent attempt at a whole new OS.
Yeah, just from the start screen, this is the screen that you get when you put the tablet on. It doesn't look like either Android or, of course, iOS with, all those similar sized icons right on the top. It's, they've taken the Windows Phone 7 designs and UI philosophy with this new user interface called Metro. And it's very, very nice. It's intuitive. Of course, the flipping from side to side is a little reminiscent of the BlackBerry Playbook. But overall, I don't know, I've been playing with this for a while, but when I showed it to you for the first 10 seconds, I guess your reactions were that...
I was completely blown away. I also like Windows Phone 7, which is what it looked like here, but seriously, what I said before, good attempt at making an OS, but how well it turned out, that's what we're going to take a look at.
Sure, we are going to discuss how Microsoft's entire device strategy, whether it's tablets, phones, desktops and laptops, are going to converge onto one OS called Windows 8, which will look the same across all devices, which is pretty controversial. But before we go into the software and taking you through some of the apps on this, let's take a look at the hardware, because if there's one thing that's special about this tablet compared to the others, including the iPad, is that the hardware on this is, PC grade. It's not like a mobile device or a slightly souped up phone. This is a full-fledged, almost performance PC-like architecture running. So let's have a look at the specs.
Let's get straight into the specs of this developer preview device. This fully fledged PC packs with a whopping 11.6-inch capacitive touchscreen, a wireless keyboard, a charging dock, and a stylus pen. The dock has full HDMI, USB, and even an Ethernet jack for all your internet needs on it. The tablet packs in a 1.6 GHz second-generation Intel Core i5 processor along with 4 GB of RAM. It also has a 3G SIM card slot, micro SD support, volume control as other hardware. This is not a commercial piece for sale, so the final device may vary on the specifications. Alright, so those are the hardware specs of this developer preview device. Now, Abhi, I like the fact that A, the keyboard is given. Secondly, the cool dock, which has a full Ethernet jack and an HDMI out.
So, of course, you know that it has an HDMI out because you can see the screen output over there. There is an Ethernet port on that dock, and that should give you a hint as to what Microsoft actually thinks this device should be all about. This is not meant to be just purely a tablet in the way that the iPad was envisaged as something between your laptop and your phone. For third device, this is actually being envisaged by Microsoft to be your only device. Because you use it as a tablet, maybe not as a phone because they'd like you to use Windows Phone probably, but definitely they're looking at this to probably, kill off, if not the laptop market, then probably the desktop, the home desktop PC market, because with this dock, you plug your Ethernet cable in, your HDMI cable, your speakers, you have a full-fledged desktop, and as if to make the point that this should be used as a desktop, even in this fantastic-looking new Metro architecture, you press this one button, and voila. For all of you who miss your Windows XP and Windows 7 interfaces so much, you are actually running a full-fledged Windows interface over there. So they're trying to not alienate, the hardcore Windows desktop users, but they still want to integrate it with the tablet platform. And, I don't know how useful that strategy would be, how many people would be willing to use a keyboard and mouse with this kind of device and also then pick it up and use it as a touchscreen device. But, well, Microsoft is definitely pointing in the direction that all its, gadgets are going to converge onto Windows 8. So this is the interface you'll see on all devices, including laptops and desktops in the future. Let's take this off the dock for now and actually see how, it feels as a standalone tablet. Okay, now you do remember that we showed you a tablet special some months ago on this show, and that time the only Windows representative was the Acer Iconia, which was basically, just a Windows PC with touch built in. And this is how it looked, right? You had a regular Windows screen, and you had to touch, on the icons and touch on the start bar. But luckily that's gone away when you go into the new, Metro user interface of Windows 8, because now suddenly you're toggling between this kind of a desktop screen, which you're expected to use with a mouse and keyboard when your computer is docked in, classic Windows style. And the moment you take it out of the dock, like I've done right now, you press the start button, the only button on the device on the front, and voila, you're back into the cool touch mode. Now, we showed you that, small package about the history of the Microsoft tablet, and I guess Microsoft is still hanging on to its past a wee bit because they just can't let go of the good old stylus, right? I mean, I'm sure Steve Jobs would balk at having a stylus on a tablet, but, this is Bill Gates' legacy, that he wants something which you can write with. And if you open this app that does some handwriting recognition, let's see how good it is with a word that is not in the dictionary. That's the word technoholic. And I'm going to say recognize. It's got it over here. Yep, not bad. So the handwriting recognition on this is pretty good, and some people who still miss the good old stylus can use it, especially for taking notes. The beauty of this device is that for the first time I'm seeing something that actually loads faster than the iPad. You just tap on Internet Explorer and boom, it's open. There was absolutely no lag, and of course very, very fast as far as pinching, zooming and scrolling is concerned. Easily the best hardware software integration, I dare say better than the iPad as well. But then again, developer preview, and this device is only going to come to market a year from now. So the iPad 3 or the next version of the iPad will be out before this, and will probably catch up as far as hardware is concerned. Right in the middle here are, of course, some apps that the average person will not be interested in, but developers, of course, will be looking very closely at stuff like Visual Studio Express, their command prompts out there, their remote debugger, their task manager. Basically, anybody who could write programs for Windows and Visual Basic and hardcore PC coding can easily now write their apps for a tablet. So, what does Steve Ballmer have to say to the legions of people who want to write code for Windows? You've all probably seen this video, but for those of you who haven't,
developers, 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 developers. Yes!
That was Steve Ballmer going developers, 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 which brings us to the question that we always ask, Abhi, whenever a new platform is introduced. There's iOS, there's Android, and there's also an app for the BlackBerry Playbook. Will developers code for yet another platform? That's Windows 8 now.
A very relevant question, Radhika. If you already got your iPhone, iPad apps to write and your Android apps to write, do developers, which are typically small firms of 3 or 4 engineers. Even the larger ones have so many clients and so many projects. They don't have time to develop for too many platforms. The good part is that because you can platform on all the good old Microsoft platforms like Visual Studio, you don't have to learn new skills, you don't have to learn a new development environment. It's all pretty much there. So everybody who's been developing for the Microsoft Windows platform is automatically now a developer.
I can probably write an app. My TYBSC project was in Visual Basic.
Wow. Okay. So can you give us some syntax for an app that you'll write?
Yeah. Offline. Later on.
Yeah. So, well, it's that easy that even Radhika can code for it. But on a more serious note, I mean, for once, I think that Apple is not going to take this very lightly as far as a threat is concerned. 1 year is the amount of time that developers have all around the world to write their apps for the new Windows 8 platform and for this Metro UI. And we think that's a sufficient amount of time for many of them to write some pretty nifty stuff.
So, obviously, we can't get a final verdict on this because it's a developer preview. But does it look promising enough for people to stay on for about a year and not look at the iPad that will probably come now?
Windows has had sort of, ups and downs as far as their OS versions are concerned. It's almost like every alternate OS they get perfectly right, as this funny image you're putting on the screen will show you. So, we all love 3.1, 95 a bit of a disaster, 98 was great, 2000 bad, XP good, Vista disaster, Windows 7 pretty good, and now finally Windows 8, 2 in a row they've got good. So you never know, Microsoft's on to a good thing. This is big, not particularly pretty, but it is fantastic. I am now actually considering that, if they get out something which has slightly better looking hardware with all these features, I might just switch back from Android to Windows.
There you go, Abhimanyu actually declaring that he will switch to yet another OS. He was first on iOS, then he went to Android, and now he wants to go to Windows 8. So what we're saying about this device is that Windows 8 looks very promising. Hopefully it stays the same for the next year when the final devices get launched. And with that, we have to take a break on this segment of Technoholic, but coming up on the other side, Sagar gets us for the new BlackBerry.